Things First is sponsored by Ram Trucks, built to serve.
Oh, good morning, everyone, and welcome to First Things First on this Tuesday, November 3rd, 2020. It is Election Day. I beg you to get out there and vote. If you're on the East Coast, you're already in line voting. You can watch us on the Fox Sports app. Don't have to miss a beat. And we've got a great 2 hours of show for you to keep you entertained as you are getting ready to vote, or maybe you have already. Let's start with a little Monday Night Football last night. This was a better game than most people expected. Giants and Bucks. Tampa favored by like 12 and a half. You wouldn't know it last night. They took a stop on a 2-point conversion to barely come away with a win in regulation over the Giants. Flag was thrown, but it got picked up after further review. And the Tampa Bay Buccaneers just escaped with a 25-23 oh-so-close win over the Giants to improve to 6-2. Here is Joe Judge on that controversial no call.
Yeah, I thought Nate made the right call when he threw the flag. So I'm not sure why it got picked up. We had a pretty good view. I know they can't use the Jumbotrons for replay. We had a pretty clear view of that as well. But I thought Nate made the right call the first time. I thought, normally your first instinct is the right one. So.
All right, Brandon, start with you. What'd you make of that no call at the end of the game?
Great call, Jenna. I'm glad that they picked it up. That's on Daniel Jones, Nick. He was late with the ball.
Oh, that's true.
Okay, that's first and foremost. He was late with the ball, and he threw it behind him. So that's on Daniel Jones. Yeah. I'm glad that the refs didn't get in the way from Tom Brady keeping this team on track, Nick. Okay. Look at this. Look at the ball. Yeah. It's behind him.
No one disagrees with that.
His first read is to the flat.
Wait a second. Let's be fair here, because Brady drew a very, very important pass interference penalty on a ball. It wasn't as badly thrown as this, but the reason it was PI was because it was underthrown and Mike Evans had to go back to the ball. That happens a lot. That's right. Here's the deal, America. The Giants were going to lose anyway because Daniel Jones, their quarterback, their best case was a tie. You get to overtime, take knees, and hold on for dear life. So I don't think this decided the game. And if there was no flag thrown, Wilds, I'd be fine with this. But just like Joe Judge was alluding to, it is irritating that a flag was thrown. And in my mind, when a referee sees a penalty and throws a flag, the only reason that flag should then be picked up is if there's new information presented, like the ball was tipped at the line of scrimmage, therefore pass interference can't exist, or you didn't see another penalty in the illegal pick play, something like that.
It's bang, bang.
When you see a bang-bang play and you throw the flag, then I think you have to stick with that call, Wilds. I wouldn't, to be clear, I wouldn't be here saying they should have thrown a flag had they never thrown the flag. But because they threw it, I don't know how you pick that up, Wilds.
That's right. When you throw it and then you have your little conversation, what do you say? Like, it's either A, I accidentally threw it, or you just get sunned right in the little referee meeting where it's like, pick it up. Like, okay, I'll pick it up. Like, I had a better angle on it. No, you didn't. I threw the flag. And Brandon, I'm surprised you're not sticking up for wide receivers here. Just because the ball is not perfectly placed, you still have a right to make a play on the ball, don't you?
This is on your guy. This is your team. This is on your guy. You need to talk to Daniel Jones and say, look, buddy, your first read is the flat. Why are you hesitating? Throw the flat right away, and now you're tying the game up. But he didn't do that. And then he also threw it behind the guy. Throw it out to the pylon. You are taught as the quarterback. These are the fundamentals.
Brandon,
throw this ball to the front pylon.
Brandon, if that was you and the ball was thrown a little bit behind you, you would be okay and be like, it wasn't a pass interference. Granted, I didn't get a chance to make a play on the ball, but my buddy Jay Cutler can throw the ball 100 miles an hour, so it's not a big deal. I feel like you would be furious if this was you.
Of course I'll be flopping. Of course I'll be asking the ref to throw the flag and it was a pass interference. Of course I would. But when you look at it on film, it's not a PI. It was a bang-bang play. He got there right away. He didn't. If he violently ran into the guy, then it's a different conversation, Nick. But that was not the case.
This was a great no call. The flag Oh, but it wasn't a no call. That's the problem. The problem is a flag was thrown and then they overturned it. And just quickly, Wild said, what happens in that conference? I think the third option is the most likely, which is in that conference, the refs get together and say, fellas, picking this flag up sure would help Thomas Edward Patrick Brady. And, man, that's a guy that needs another break. So let's pick it up. Let's go home. Bucks
it's
win.
Too early.
Giants
it's too early. It's the first block. Let's not argue. Jenna, can we move on? Because I don't want to argue.
Saying, Jenna.
We are going to.
I'm just saying.
Regardless of what happened on that play, the Bucks, you got to look at this team and say, well, what happened here? Why was it even so close? Why are we even talking about that? Do you guys still think, Brandon, I'll ask you, the Bucks are contenders after just barely beating a team like the Giants?
Well, first, before we even jump into that, I gotta admit that I was nervous watching this game. America, if you want to see a virtual fight, then you tune into First Things First when we're debating Tom Brady or Baker Mayfield. So watching this game, you can immediately see, Jenna, that this team, this Tampa Bay team, wasn't prepared to play. You saw Tom Brady slamming his helmet, trying to stay in keep his emotions under control, but he was mad. Why was he mad? Because there was no juice on that sideline. They started reverting back to shooting himself in the foot with these terrible penalties. And Tom was like, why are we not here to play? This is our year. So for me, right away, you can see that this team wasn't prepared. Sometimes you walk in the locker room before there's a snap even played, and you know, oh, crap, we're in for a long day. This is going to be a long 3 hours. So for me, they are still a contender 100%. This is a team that came in. This could have easily been a trap game, but they found a way to pull it through. And now if you're Bruce Arians and Tom Brady, Nick, what you do is you go in and say, here's the standard. To be a champion, you practice and you play the same every single day. This is not it. Because there's not a lot of fans in the stands, because it's not, we're playing against the New Orleans Saints, don't mean we don't have juice.
Yeah.
Correct.
I think it was very clearly a trap game for the Bucks because they do have the Saints next week, because they had that great fourth quarter against the Raiders. And normally I would just give a team a pass for that. And again, like Brandon said, not to start a fight, but I did learn last week that Tampa fixing its penalty problem, Brady gets credit for it. The unseasonably warm fall they're having in the Tampa area, Brady gets credit for. So certainly, Tom Brady gets credit or blame if a team's not fully ready to play. And the other thing I said last week, Wilds, and Wilds, I know you're not a guy that holds a lot of stocks. You're more of a Bitcoin guy, but follow me here. The Bucs stock price was going to be at its season-long high. And I expected it to start dropping a bit. And while last night it didn't fall off a cliff, it's a few dollars a share cheaper than it was a week ago. And when they lose to New Orleans on Sunday, it's going to drop even further. And when we're entering, the middle of December, and it's like, this Bucs team's going to be 10-6, 11-5. They're a good, not great team. People are going to say, man, I sure wish I sold that stock when it was trading up right alongside the Chiefs price. So I'm not going to ding them, take them entirely off the tier they were at, but I do think this team that was being discussed as maybe the best team in football, we saw the best team in football play a terrible team from New York this weekend, and we saw what that game looked like, and we saw what this game looked like, Wilds.
That's good. That's a good take. I'm still, if the Bucs stock continues to drop, I'll buy some. But right now, I'm happy. I'm happy with my position. Katanik, before we go to break, can we show the Brady slamming his helmet video real quick? Because Brandon, when I watched this, it reminded me of you when you said when you went to the sidelines and were frustrated, you knew that there were going to be a bunch of cameras on you. Because he's so mad, he's like, no, I'm not going to slam it. I'm not going to slam it. Yes, I am. I'll slam it here. I'm not going to slam it on like the helmet holders. There's like, he can say, no, don't do it. Don't do it. No, now I should do it. No, I'll do it. So that's my favorite play.
All right. Well, as angry as Brady was, he still got the win last night, something Bill Belichick has not done much of this year. Check out this scene. That's a smile, I think, on Bill Belichick. That was a long time ago, gentlemen. So how does Bill explain all that success today?
No, this will be us after the Jets win.
Wait till you hear it. Next, First Things First.
I love